So following the border at this hour right now, Border Patrol agents preparing for a surge of migrants attempting to enter the U.S. when COVID-era restrictions, Title 42, expires this week. Some are predicting at least 10,000 people a day could head to the southern border, thousands of miles away. Republicans have unveiled a new plan that they say will get the impending crisis under control. Joe Khalil is live for us on Capitol Hill with the latest on this. And Joe, President Biden already saying that he will fight the GOP's efforts.
Yeah, he's saying that, Marni, and obviously what the White House says here carries some weight and is going to have a real impact. I want to talk about that in just a moment, but first I want to start off with some brand new reporting that I have gotten just this morning, and that is that House Republican leaders now feel much more confident that their border security and immigration bill has enough votes in their own party to move forward. As of yesterday, that was an open question. We were not exactly sure if they could find the votes because there were, as we have been reporting, a few moderate Republicans that pushed back on the asylum rules. Specifically, they felt like it went too far in restricting people from applying for asylum if they have legitimate claims to do so. And remember, Marni, this is an important part. Some of these House Republicans who had issues with this are Cuban Americans themselves, are Mexican Americans themselves who understand the immigration plight. And even these Cuban Americans are saying that they didn't want to close the door off because they understand what it's like to leave a country because of political persecution and want to apply as a refugee to live in the U.S. They wanted that door for people who need it to be open. What I'm told now, as of this morning, is that House Republican leaders feel that they finally have those few moderate members on board. There are a couple of other sticking points that other Republicans have raised, particularly with an e-verify system, how border agents and immigration officials will track people who are in the country legally. But those, I am told, are going to be resolved. And tonight, we're going to see the first votes on this bill in a committee. House Republicans hoping to vote the full House on their bill tomorrow. And again, this is now new. They expect and feel confident that they have the votes to move it forward. Marni, what you were talking about here, President Biden coming out against this bill and talking about the Title 42 bill that would extend it for 2 more years in the Senate. The White House is against it, and for that reason, we don't expect Democrats who control the Senate to bring that bill up at all. But I am learning there are more Democrats we're hearing about that are supporting it. Another new element here, Senator Jon Tester from Montana, very moderate Democrat. He now says he wants to help co-sponsor that bill, and he supports the Title 42 extension. So we've been asking a couple of other Democrats whether they would support it. What I'm told by Republican sources here in the Senate is they feel like when Title 42 expires and we actually see some serious crisis situations at the border, which they expect, that there's going to be a lot of pressure on Democrats to do something. And they feel that maybe that something could be this Title 42 bill. But again, right now, Senator Schumer likely not to go against the White House and their wishes. So that's where it stands now. We are expecting movement in the House on that border security bill, maybe not so much movement in the Senate, but all of it coming together as we wait to see what happens when Title 42 expires.
Right, and if it in fact forces some conversations to be had. All right, Joe, thank you for that update. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.